Today, I want to talk about something that can feel both incredibly simple and impossibly difficult: believing in yourself. Let's be real, self-belief isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. It's messy, uncomfortable, and sometimes downright terrifying. But it's also the most powerful gift you can give yourself. Believing in yourself isn't about arrogance or pretending to have it all figured out. It's about showing up, imperfections and all, and saying, I'm worthy of taking up space. I'm worthy of trying. I'm worthy of living a life that feels true to me. And yes, self-doubt will try to creep in. That inner critic, it loves to remind you of every misstep you've ever taken. But here's the truth: self-belief isn't the absence of doubt, it's the courage to keep going despite it. So let's explore what it really means to believe in yourself, why it's so hard, and how to start embracing your worth today. Believing in yourself is a practice, not a one-time decision. You won't wake up one day suddenly free of self-doubt. It doesn't work like flipping a switch or turning a page. It's more like building a muscle slowly, steadily, one step at a time. Some days it feels effortless. You wake up ready to take on the world, confident in your abilities and secure in who you are. But there are other days, hard days, when self-doubt creeps in like an unwelcome guest. On those days, believing in yourself can feel like a heavy weight, a task too big to bear. And yet, those are the days when this practice matters the most. Because believing in yourself doesn't mean never questioning your worth. It means choosing to show up, even when the doubts are loud and the path feels unclear. It's standing in front of the mirror, looking at all the flaws and imperfections, and saying, I am still enough. It's knowing that self-doubt isn't proof that you're failing. It's proof that you're human. You see, this practice isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about reminding yourself over and over that your worth isn't tied to what you accomplish today or how well you meet the expectations of others. It's rooted in something deeper, a belief that who you are at your core is valuable, capable, and deserving of every good thing. And this belief, it's built in the quiet moments, not just the big wins. It's built when you choose to try, even when success feels uncertain. It's built when you forgive yourself for falling short and give yourself permission to start again. It's built when you decide, I'm not going to let fear make this decision for me. Every time you take that step, no matter how small, you are practicing the art of believing in yourself. It's not glamorous, and it's certainly not easy. But the more you practice, the stronger you become. The stronger your belief in yourself becomes. And one day you'll look back and realize that those tiny daily choices to keep going, to keep believing, have added up to something extraordinary. Courage starts with vulnerability. It's easy to think of courage as something loud and fearless, a grand act of bravery that leaves no room for hesitation or doubt. But real courage starts in the quiet moments when you choose to let yourself be seen, even when it feels uncomfortable. Believing in yourself means stepping into the light, knowing full well that you are not perfect. It's not about presenting a flawless version of yourself to the world. It's about saying, here I am, flaws and all, and trusting that your worth is not diminished by your imperfections. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the birthplace of courage. It's standing in your truth, even when it feels messy and uncertain. It's admitting when you're scared but showing up anyway. It's letting others see the real you, even when you worry they might not understand. The world often tells us to hide our flaws, to smooth out the edges, to only show the parts of ourselves that feel polished and safe. But when you believe in yourself, you begin to see that your imperfections are not things to be hidden. They're part of your story. They're what make you human, relatable, and real. Believing in yourself doesn't mean you're free of self-doubt or fear of judgment. It means you choose to embrace those feelings and keep going. It means you let go of the need to be perfect and instead focus on being authentic. Because the truth is, when you're vulnerable, you create connection. When you're willing to show your true self, you open the door for others to do the same. And in those moments, you begin to realize that courage isn't about being invincible. It's about being willing to take the risk of being seen. It's about trusting that your value isn't tied to perfection, but to the simple, beautiful fact that you are enough just as you are. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you give yourself the chance to grow, to connect, and to fully live. And that's where the real magic of courage begins. Self-doubt doesn't mean you're failing. It's easy to look around and think that everyone else has it all figured out, that their paths are smooth, their steps are sure, and their confidence is unshakable. But the truth is, everyone feels unsure at times. Everyone has moments where doubt whispers, what if you can't? What if you're not enough? Those moments of self-doubt don't mean you're broken or incapable. They mean you're human. The goal isn't to eliminate doubt. It's not about silencing every fear or banishing every moment of hesitation. Because doubt will come, it always does, especially when you're stepping into something new, something uncertain, something big. The goal is to move forward in spite of it, to hear that voice of doubt and say, I see you, but you don't get to decide what happens next. It's recognizing that doubt is a passenger on this journey, not the driver. It doesn't have to steer your choices or shape your belief in yourself. Self-doubt often shows up when you care deeply about something. It's a sign that what you're doing matters to you. But just because it's there doesn't mean it's the truth. Doubt can cloud your vision, but it can't change your potential. You are still capable of greatness, even when you're unsure. You are still worthy of trying, even when fear lingers in the background. In fact, moving forward in the face of doubt is one of the most courageous things you can do. It's saying, I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to take the next step. It's choosing action over paralysis, hope over fear, and possibility over perfection. Every time you push through that doubt, even just a little, you build a deeper trust in yourself. You remind yourself that you can do hard things, even when they feel scary, and with every step, you prove that self-doubt is not a stop sign, it's just a moment to pause, breathe, and keep going. Because failure isn't feeling doubt. Failure is letting it hold you back, and you. You're made for more than that. Reframe failure as growth. We're often taught to see failure as the end of the road, as proof that we weren't good enough or didn't measure up. But failure isn't the opposite of success, it's a part of it. Every stumble, every misstep is proof that you're trying. It's evidence that you're stepping outside of your comfort zone and reaching for something bigger. Think about it, if you never fail, it means you're not challenging yourself. You're staying safe, staying small, avoiding risks that could lead to something extraordinary. But when you're willing to stumble, to fall, and to get back up, you're learning. You're growing. Failure teaches you things that success never could. It shows you where your limits are and how to push past them. It reveals your resilience, your creativity, and your strength. It's not a reflection of your worth, it's a reflection of your willingness to try. When you fail, it's easy to focus on what went wrong, to replay the mistakes in your mind and let them define you. But what if you looked at failure differently? What if instead of asking, why did I mess up? You asked, what did I learn? What if you saw each stumble as a stepping stone, not a setback? The truth is, failure is one of the greatest teachers you'll ever have. It doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means you're brave enough to take the risk. It doesn't mean you've reached the end. It means you're still on the journey. Every time you fall and get back up, you're proving something to yourself. You're proving that you're not defined by your mistakes. You're defined by your perseverance, by your ability to turn failure into fuel for growth. So the next time you stumble, don't let it stop you. Let it remind you that you're stretching, growing, and evolving into the person you're meant to be. Because failure isn't a sign that you're falling behind. It's a sign that you're moving forward. You are not your past mistakes. It's easy to let the weight of what went wrong hold you back, to replay those moments in your mind like they define who you are. But your mistakes are not the full story. They're just a chapter, a moment in time, not the sum total of your worth. Self-belief means being able to look at those moments of falling short and separating them from your identity. You are not the misstep, the wrong turn, or the choice you wish you could take back. You are the person who got back up. You are the one who learned, who grew, who decided to keep moving forward, despite it all. Mistakes are not evidence that you're broken or incapable. They're simply proof that you're trying, that you're living, that you're human. Believing in yourself means allowing room for imperfection, for growth, for the understanding that you're not a finished product. You are a work in progress, constantly evolving, constantly learning. Every time you fall, you're given a chance to rise again stronger, wiser, more compassionate toward yourself. But that can only happen if you let go of the idea that your worth is tied to your past. It's not. Your worth is inherent. It's not something you earn by being perfect or by avoiding mistakes. It's something you carry with you, always, no matter how many times you stumble. When you let go of the shame attached to your past, you open the door to something greater, growth, freedom, and the ability to see yourself as you truly are flawed. Yes, but also worthy, capable, and resilient. The past is a teacher, not a judge. Its purpose isn't to define you, but to shape you, to show you where you've been, and to guide you toward where you want to go. So don't let your mistakes keep you anchored to the ground. Use them as stepping stones to rise, to move forward, and to believe in the person you are becoming. Because you are so much more than the moments you got it wrong. You are the sum of every time you chose to keep going. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. Life is too short to spend it with those who make you feel small, who dim your light, or who question your worth. Find your tribe, the ones who see you clearly, even on the days you can't see yourself. The people who remind you of your strengths when doubt takes over. The ones who celebrate your victories, no matter how small, and stand by you in your struggles without judgment. Your tribe doesn't have to be large. It's not about the quantity of people around you, but the quality of the connection. It's about having those few who truly understand your heart, who cheer for your dreams, and who believe in your potential. When you surround yourself with people who lift you up, they become a mirror reflecting back the best parts of who you are. They remind you of your resilience when you feel like giving up. They offer encouragement when you're stuck in self-doubt, and they hold space for you to be yourself fully, authentically, unapologetically. But finding these people isn't always easy. It requires vulnerability, trust, and the courage to let go of relationships that no longer serve you. It means being intentional about who you allow into your life. Look for those who inspire you, who challenge you to grow, and who make you feel safe to be imperfect. And remember, this isn't just about finding people to lift you up. It's also about being that person for someone else. It's about showing up for others with kindness, encouragement, and a willingness to believe in their worth just as much as your own. Because when you surround yourself with a community of support and mutual uplift, something incredible happens. You start to see that you're not alone. That even on the hardest days, you have people in your corner rooting for you. And that kind of support has the power to change everything. So choose your tribe wisely. And when you find them, hold them close. Because the people who lift you up are a gift, and so are you. Celebrate your small wins. It's easy to overlook them, to brush them aside as insignificant compared to the bigger goals you're striving for. But every step forward, no matter how small, is proof that you're moving in the right direction. It's proof that you're capable of growth, of change, of becoming the person you're working so hard to be. The world often focuses on the big milestones, the promotions, the accolades, the moments that feel grand and shiny. But the truth is, those big wins are built on the foundation of the small ones. The times you chose to try again after a setback. The days you got out of bed and faced the world when it would have been easier to hide. The tiny shifts in mindset that no one else might notice, but that you know took courage. Those are the wins that matter. Those are the moments that deserve to be celebrated. Because they remind you of your progress. They show you that change doesn't happen all at once. It happens in the small, quiet moments of persistence. It happens in the daily choices to keep going, even when it feels hard. Celebrating your small wins isn't about inflating your ego. It's about recognizing your effort. It's about giving yourself credit for showing up, for trying, for making the choice to believe in yourself, even if just for a moment. It's about pausing to say, I'm proud of myself for this. And that pride, it fuels you. It reminds you that you're capable of doing hard things. It motivates you to take the next step, and then the next, and then the one after that. When you acknowledge your small wins, you shift your focus from what's still ahead to how far you've already come. You begin to see your journey not as an endless climb, but as a series of meaningful moments worth honoring. So don't wait for the big moments to feel proud. Celebrate the little victories, the ones that whisper you're doing it. You're growing. You're enough. Because those small wins, they're not just steps forward, they're the foundation of everything you're becoming. Stop comparing your journey to others. It's tempting, isn't it? To look at someone else's life and measure your progress against theirs. To see their successes, their milestones, their seemingly perfect path, and wonder why you're not there yet. But comparison is a trap, a thief of joy, and a distraction from your own growth. The truth is, no two journeys are the same. Your path is yours alone, shaped by your experiences, your choices, your struggles, and your strengths. Believing in yourself means recognizing that your timeline doesn't have to match anyone else's. You are not behind. You are not ahead. You are exactly where you're meant to be right now. Every step you take, every decision you make is leading you toward the person you're becoming. And that path, it's unique. It's full of twists and turns that no one else can understand fully because it's yours to walk. When you compare yourself to others, you risk losing sight of what truly matters: your own progress, your own growth, and your own victories. You might miss the beauty in your journey because you're too busy focusing on someone else's. But here's the thing, you don't see the whole picture of anyone else's life. You don't see the doubts they carry, the struggles they face, or the work it took to get where they are. Just as they don't see yours. Instead of comparing, honor your own story. Celebrate the small wins that are uniquely yours. Acknowledge the strength it's taken to overcome your challenges. And trust that your timeline, however winding or unpredictable, is leading you exactly where you're meant to go. Believing in yourself means letting go of the need to measure up to anyone else. It means finding peace in the understanding that your worth isn't tied to how your journey looks compared to others. It's found in how true you are to yourself, your goals, and your values. So stay on your path. Trust in its unfolding, even when it feels uncertain, because your journey is yours, and that makes it extraordinary. Speak kindly to yourself. The words you say to yourself, even in the quiet of your own mind, hold incredible power. They shape the way you see yourself, the way you move through the world, and the way you respond to challenges. Your inner voice matters, yet so often we speak to ourselves in ways we would never speak to someone we care about. We let self-criticism take the lead, pointing out every flaw, every mistake, every moment we think we fell short. But what if, instead, you replace that criticism with compassion? What if your inner voice became a source of encouragement, a voice that lifted you up instead of tearing you down? Being kind to yourself doesn't mean ignoring areas where you want to grow. It means approaching those areas with understanding, patience, and grace. It means recognizing that growth takes time and that perfection isn't the goal, it never was. When you speak kindly to yourself, you create space for healing, for confidence, and for resilience. You give yourself permission to be human. You remind yourself that you are worthy of love and respect, even on your hardest days. Imagine talking to yourself the way you would talk to a dear friend. What would you say to them when they're struggling? How would you cheer them on when they're feeling unsure? Take that same tone of compassion and turn it inward, because you deserve it just as much as anyone else. The way you speak to yourself becomes the way you believe in yourself. Words of kindness plant seeds of self-confidence and hope. They remind you that you're doing your best, that you're enough, and that you're capable of amazing things. So the next time your inner critic speaks up, pause. Replace those harsh words with something gentler, something kinder. Speak to yourself with the care you deserve, because your voice matters and the way you use it for yourself can change everything. Take action, even when it's scary. It's easy to wait for the fear to disappear, to wait for the perfect moment when everything feels right. But the truth is, the fear rarely goes away completely. It's always there, lingering, whispering doubt into your ear. And if you wait for the fear to vanish, you might never take the leap. Self-belief grows when you prove to yourself that you can do hard things, even when the path ahead feels uncertain. It's not about waiting for the courage to arrive. It's about moving forward in spite of the fear. Start small, but start. It doesn't have to be a giant leap. Even the tiniest action can create momentum and shift your mindset. It's in those small steps that your confidence starts to build. Every time you push past fear and take action, you're telling yourself, I can do this. And the more you prove it to yourself, the stronger your belief becomes. It's easy to get stuck in the cycle of overthinking, of imagining every possible outcome, and worrying about what could go wrong. But the truth is, you don't have to have all the answers to start. You don't have to feel completely ready to take the next step. What matters is that you take it anyway. The more you step into discomfort, the more you realize that you're capable of handling whatever comes your way. You'll learn as you go, adjust along the way, and discover strengths you didn't even know you had. Action, even when it's scary, is the antidote to fear. It breaks through the paralysis and shows you that you're capable of so much more than you think. So don't wait for the fear to go away. Take that first step, no matter how small it may seem. Because every step forward is a reminder that you are stronger than your fear and more capable than you ever imagined. So remember this, believing in yourself isn't about waiting for the perfect moment or expecting everything to fall into place. It's about showing up, even when it's hard. It's about embracing your imperfections, taking action despite the fear, and celebrating every small win along the way. It's about trusting that your path is unique, that you are worthy of growth, and that you are more than capable of doing hard things. You have everything you need within you to keep moving forward. So take that first step. Speak kindly to yourself. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. And most importantly, believe in yourself not just when it's easy, but especially when it feels difficult. Because you are worthy, you are enough, and you are more capable than you know.